Hey there, toy collector friends and Star Trek fans alike. Welcome back to the channel. I'm the Triple TC, that's the time travelling toy collector, and today we're looking at another entry into the Star Trek Starships collection. This time, however, we're looking at an entry that dates back to the time of Eaglemoss, and it is this ship here. It is the Miranda class USS Reliant, as it appeared in the motion picture The Wrath of Khan. And it is, as you can see, an XL edition, and it is a very nicely detailed ship. It's one of a few ships that I have left over from the Eaglemoss collecting period that I didn't get around to doing a video for, and I'm hoping that over the next couple of months I'll be unearthing some of those and getting them in front of the camera. Particularly as I have a bit of a renewed vigour for it now, given that Fanhome are doing such a sterling job bringing out their models, and I know we've got another one due soon, but I thought, well, actually I do have some that I haven't taken time to look at, and the Miranda class Reliant was a major part of that second, and some would argue one of the greatest Star Trek motion pictures, The Wrath of Khan. You can debate that in the comments if you like, but it certainly is I think one of the strongest entries. So let's get this Miranda class. And it's very, I mean, again, there's so much about this that is the very best of Eaglemoss. It is very weighty, and I kid you not, you can really feel in the saucer section. It's mostly saucer section, to be fair, but you can really feel the weight of the die cast in this. You really can, and I'm not just saying that, you really can, to the point where, again, when you have it in this cradle, the center of gravity is literally here. It feels weightiest here. So there's probably some ABS plastic around here. Obviously the nacelles and the top segment there are going to be plastic, but the real weight of it is there in the center. Anyway, it's when you're used to some of the lighter ships, taking this in hand, it really does make you go, oh my goodness, I didn't expect that to be quite so powerful. So let's take a look first of all at the USS Reliant. We can see lots of tampographic detailing on the top there. I was just looking for windows. That's why I sort of paused mid-sentence there. I was thinking, where are the windows? Because we know Eaglemoss have a bit of a habit of messing up the windows. There are some there. We can start to see them. We can see Starship USS Reliant, United Federation of Planets, and then there's the standard banner there. And there are windows detailed there. You can see them around the outside of the saucer section, and from what I can see, there's no actual indentation. So where these are has been done, manually without the guide of the indentations, and similarly around here. And this is my point with Fanhome, the new Fanhome releases. You don't need to don't mould them with the indentations. It works much better, especially from the sort of distance you'd be looking at these for, to not bother having it, because when you miss them, it's so apparent. So don't have them, and then no one can accuse you of missing them. I know it sounds like a bit of a juvenile solution, but it is a solution, and this one certainly seems to prove it. They're in the traditional sort of outline and frequency pattern of typical saucer sections, looking at those windows. So it certainly works. Anyway, let's get back to the topic in hand. We can see the detailing there around the top, as mentioned, USS Reliant NCC 1864. You can see the sort of phaser points at the top there. Wonderful surface detailing, and then it breaks away into this sort of additional inlaid plastic element, which again is showing some mechanical detail there. Let's take the side view of this ship, and again, looking at it, I do wonder why it's taken me so long to do it, because it is a beautiful ship and a beautiful model. So here we see that overlaid section. Let's take a bit of an additional look at that there. Again, you can see sort of running lights on the edges there, the registration, that segment that sort of sits over the top of the primary hull, with what appears to be what may be maneuvering thrusters set into the top there. You can see those there. We've got impulse engines here above where it says Reliant. We've got what looks like docking bay 1, docking bay 2 for shuttlecraft. Plenty of detailing. Let's get to the nacelles, which are low slung nacelles for this craft, and again they're detailed. The Bussard collectors are in that sort of the time enclosed frontage, and then we have the blue translucent plastic for the main part of the warp vents along the side of the nacelle, with the registry and detailing there at the back end. We'll do a total top view there so you can see all of the detailing, and I'll come right round to the back so we can see that view. It is very nicely detailed ship. There's nothing really new to see on this side, so we'll cut directly to the underside of the saucer section, and you can see all the, I mean, it's mostly panel detailing. Again, we're not held back with a ton of windows that are misaligned. There is some nice detailing there. And then we move into the engineering section. That, I believe, is the warp core here. I could be wrong, but I think that's what we're looking at there. And that's all there is, because there's no other body to the Miranda class. So it really makes for a really beautiful, and I would say very photogenic ship. A very photogenic ship. But it's a shame it got blown up. And as I say, it's really weighty. You can really feel the weight of this particular model. You slide it back into the cradle, and then I'll pop it for another spin. I will just say, again, it holds it nicely. It's one of the better held cradles, but as with all of them, you can feel almost the pressure on that single plastic strut. It almost screams, I'm going to snap at some point in the near future. So let's send it on its merry way, and give us a bit of a tour of the ship without my great big grubby protuberances all over it. And we can see there the nice jaunty angle that the stand holds it in as we take a full rotation. And I just think it looks so good. It looks so good, and it, as I say, going back to my earlier point, it really is one of the ships that I think shows Eaglemoss at its best. We've got things that show Eaglemoss far from its best, but this, I think, is one of the ships that really does show itself off, and show off the great model making and great design that Eaglemoss brought to the table, that made it so successful for the amount of time it was successful. You know, I think it's very easy to fall back on bitter thoughts and all the rest of it, but there was a point in time when there was a lot of interest in these and a lot of people were buying them. And as just prior to this, just out of curiosity, I had a look online to see how much the XL was going for, and I struggled to find anyone asking less than £120, and this was out of the box, you know. So there's probably are people asking for less than that, but I couldn't find any at that point. So I think that speaks very much to the strength of the design and to the quality of the build. And the quality of the build is good. As I've always said in these majority of these videos, it's not a toy, it's a display model. And so I would encourage people who pick these up, especially if you are picking it up now and spending over, you know, 100 quid to get it, be mindful that the plastic is plastic. It isn't it's not an entirely die cast. And I know when I was a kid, I had die cast toys that I could roll around and bash into each other because it was entirely die cast. This is not that. None of them are that. So any robust play or rigorous play runs the risk of doing some damage to the infrastructure. And believe me, you don't want that, particularly given how hard it will be to replace this, were you to have encounter any sort of damage with it. But just sort of slowly rotating it now, I just think, look, the silhouette of it, the overall design of it, it just screams classic Trek to me. And I just love the detailing. I love the blue tealish highlights that are there. There's just so much attention to detail, and as I say, when Eaglemoss did it right, they really did it right. And I think this is a prime example of when they actually did do it right. And I'm really glad that I managed to get this into my collection. As I say, I have a few others that are not currently, that I haven't had a chance, or I never got round to because other things got in the way, of putting in front of the camera to have a look at. So I will dig some of those out. I think also just to sort of have almost a show and tell alongside the quality of what Fanhome are producing. It's nice to sort of have that counterpoint, but with ships that I haven't shown off before. Anyway, thank you for spending the last 11 or so minutes with me. It's much appreciated. If you've enjoyed this little tour of the USS Reliant and want to see more, please drop a completely free subscription to the channel and check out my other Star Trek Starships playlists. There's 2 or 3 different ones to help you sort of hone in on what it is you might be after. I've got Enterprises Through Time as one playlist, Hero Ships for which sort of picks up on all the key ships throughout the various franchises of Star Trek, and an overall Starship collection playlist for where all the starships go, regardless of their origins and status within the various canon of Star Trek. And also, if you can be bothered to do that, it would be fantastic if you could do a like to this particular video, because every like helps boost the channel and helps take on the evil algorithm that tries to keep small channels like mine and other people's very limited to its audience. So by all means, please feel free to like the video and share it far and wide if you wish, and encourage your Star Trek loving friends to also take a peek at some of my prior videos. Also, if you have a favorite classic Star Trek starship, what is it and why? Let me know that in the comments down below. I think I've pretty much underrated this ship, and I'm quite happy to go on record as saying that. It was one that I picked up because I didn't subscribe to the previous Eaglemoss collection. I picked them up on spec, but I was very keen to get all of the XLs. And there's still 1 or 2 of the classic ones that I never picked up, and I keep hoping that I'm going to see them at a point where I can pick them up and finalise my collection. But seeing this in hand again has just reinvigorated me to go and look for that once I finish filming, because there is a really good thrill, I find. There's a really good thrill to getting one of these starships that you've not had before in your hand, especially when the detailing is as on point as it is with the Reliant. Now, I know there'll be people out there who are far more proficient with identifying on-screen inaccuracies between models and how they appeared in the film. I'm less stringent and more keen on the overall aesthetic, but if there are any inconsistencies or inaccuracies that are significant that anyone would like to share, then again, let me know in the comments down below, because it is useful for other people who might be interested to know, especially if they're looking to pick this ship up. And they may well do so at Comic Cons, etc., where there are still people who sell on Eaglemoss products. I see it at almost every Comic Con I go to. There is somebody, at least one stall, that is selling Eaglemoss ships in their multitude. So goodness knows how they've got them all still, but they have, and they sell. People are there looking for the ones that they need to complete their collection. It's lovely to see it. But yeah, any thoughts you may have, by all means, share them down below. Thank you so much for being my companion as I've had a little look at this starship and revisited both my Eaglemoss collecting past as well as Star Trek movies gone by. I very much look forward to seeing you in a future video, or of course a past video if you check out my prior catalogues. And it just remains for me to say that a thing of beauty really is a toy forever. Take care. Bye bye for now.